There's a red kite sitting up there in a tree with what looks like 1, 2, 3, 4 pigeons. Brave pigeons. Although, to be honest, red kites are more scavengers and scroungers than they are hunters, so they're probably reasonably safe. Although if the kite was hungry or had young ones to feed, not the place I'd be sitting, Mr. and Mrs. Pigeon. Anyway, welcome to Colganology. Ah, looks like the council or something have been busy, because the tree has gone. Well, it hasn't gone, it's here in lumps. This is that field maple that fell down last week. Well, what's left of it, someone's been out with a chainsaw. Very sad to have lost another tree, but what can you do? It's that time of year, isn't it? And with the high winds we had during Storm Dara, I'm amazed there was only one that went down, frankly. I see they've left the base of the tree here. They've just sawn off the bits that are blocking the alleyway or damaging that poor person's fence. Should we go have a look at the sheep, shall we, dog? Let's go and have a look at the sheep. Where are they today? Ah, it looks like they've all gathered over on the hill part of the field. Yeah, there they are up there, look, all in a gaggle. Well, a flock, obviously. He has got a lot. He has got a lot. I mean, there's some on that field and there's some on the other field. I reckon he's probably put about 200 sheep out here. Lovely. You know, these two trees are really out of place. There's a couple of Leylandii that someone obviously put here at some point or other. And they're really out of place amongst all the sort of oaks and maples and rowans and blackthorn and you know, the other native trees. But I have to say they do have some very pretty little cones. Look at these, look. They're quite nice, aren't they? Knobbly and bobbly, look a little bit like sea mines, you know, the sort of things that people used to chuck out in the water to blow up ships during the war. It's quite a pretty little cone. What looks like some honey fungus here, growing on the outside of this this old log. And over here we've got some candle snuff. There, 2 fungus for the price of 1, or 3 if you count the fact there's lots of this honey fungus up here as well growing on top of this stump. Nice. There are some wonderful gnarly trees along here. I love these. Look at the shapes of them, look. Aren't they beautiful? Like knotted old fingers or limbs. I've been walking past this captured lump of flint that's caught in the roots of this old hawthorn tree. I've been walking past this for 7 years. Amazed no one's tried to sort of wrest it free yet. I'm glad they haven't. But it's quite nice to have it floating there like that. There's another one embedded down there, look. Where the tree's fallen over, it's pulled the root out of the ground and that lump of flint is all embedded in the roots, all tangled in the roots. But it didn't affect the tree. I mean, the main trunk was cut off, but it's carried on growing. I've always liked the fact that I live in a country with quite distinct seasons. Because, you know, there's one of my favourite oak trees there. But I like the fact that in 6 months' time, all of this old brown bracken will have died back and fallen down, and this will be a sea of bluebells. Absolute sea of bluebells. It's it just gives you something to look forward to every year, and it constantly changes. And I love that. I really love all of that. More fungus. Not entirely sure what this is. It looks like it might be, I thought it was going to say cauliflower fungus, but I don't think it is. But it's quite an attractive colour, and there's lots of it here. Look. I'll go over onto this other cherry tree just here. Look at all this. Loads of it. No, it's definitely not cauliflower. It's a bracket of some kind. Oh, very nice. But they're tiny. Look how small they are. Look. And they're quite fleshy and soft. Now this, I think, is cauliflower fungus. It looks much more like what I'm used to calling cauliflower fungus anyway. Yeah, there's quite a bit of that around. But I still don't know what that little white one was. It was very nice, very delicate. Ah, I've just realised. there are two distinct sheep pens, because the electric fence here goes along here, so all this bit is sheep free. So there must be some in that field I just looked at, and those sheep over the back there. So there's actually two flocks. Ah, I thought they had a bit of a large area to walk in, so we could still get deer here. I mean, it's done today, but that's good news, because this is where I've been filming them, around here. Oh well, I will start bringing the telephoto out again, just in case, and a tripod. We had one of the most glorious sunsets I've seen in a long time yesterday evening. I was a little bit too late to go out and capture it with a camera myself, but Mark Page, who I did the pagan calendar with, he caught a couple from his back garden, and there's no enhanced colours here at all. This is exactly as it was. Deep reds, yellows, oranges, you know, it was just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Not entirely sure what caused it, but a few more like that would be very nice. Anyway, on into another day. Jelly ears here. There's one. That one off the back there, or wood ears if you prefer. There's always a lot of those around here. Teeny tiny little mushrooms. In fact, I'm not entirely sure how I even noticed them. Look. I suppose it's what my grandfather used to call a countryman's eye. But I think it's wider than that. I think it's all about what you're attuned to. Because of course I came up from rural Cornwall, right into the heart of working in London, you know, the biggest city in the UK. And I'd still be the one spotting the wildlife. Whereas my London colleagues would say, how the hell did you even notice that? And how do you know what tree that is? And that sort of thing. But I suppose, you know, they'd probably be very good at pointing out architectural features and things that maybe I wasn't so good at spotting. I don't know. But all I do know is I've never lost it. And as I'm walking along like this, I'm constantly looking, listening, smelling, touching. You know, it's all part of the experience of going out for a walk. Which is why I can never understand people who walk around these fields with headphones on, listening to music or audiobooks. I mean, I can understand if that's your way to relax. That's fine. But you can listen to audiobooks relaxing in a nice warm armchair. You know, by a fire or whatever. I mean, out here, you've got the whole sensory experience, and I can't imagine ever robbing myself of that. I mean, the only time I actually break off from doing all of those things is to speak to you lot on this phone, so I can make something for the YouTube channel. But yeah, even as I'm talking to you now, I can hear some red kites whittering away in the background, squealing at each other, because I know I'm approaching an area where they normally nest. But again, I only know that because I've seen them nesting up there. I guess it's just a matter of who you are. Oh, shush. I think it's just a matter of who you are and your influences and your background and what you're used to, I suppose. Now, this is a bit of a surprise. That looks like an ash tree that's come down here. Or has it been deliberately pushed down? Because I know there's a couple over the back here that are looking a little bit... That kite is really noisy. There's a couple here that... I don't know, actually. Actually, it doesn't look very healthy, I have to say. I think this has been a move to get this one out of the ground to cut it up, because I think it might have ash dieback, in which case they've got to take it down. Otherwise, the fungal infection could infect all the other ash trees in these fields, and this field has a lot of ash trees. And with the UK predicted to lose 50% of them nationally to ash dieback, you've got to weed out the sickly ones when you can. I was just looking at this pile of wood that comes from having cut down that fallen field maple a few days ago, because I was wondering if there's anything here I might have as this year's Yule log. Now, a Yule log, as you may know, traditionally has to be gifted to you or has to come from land you own. Now, it just so happens that these fields, of course, are owned by the community, so I kind of do own it. But finding a little log that's about the right size that will fit my fireplace, and I am lucky to have a real fireplace at home. They're all a bit big and I'm not coming up here with a saw. Maybe that little one on top if I take off some of the branches. Unfortunately, that log was a bit rotten, so I'm not going to take that one home. But I'll keep my eye out. And the thing is, I'll know when it's right, because traditionally a Yule log tells you that it's the Yule log. You know, it sort of shouts at you, hey, I'm the one you want to take home and put on your fire. And that one wasn't quite doing it for me, I have to say. I'll find one. I will find one. Not a lot to report today, really. I mean, the field is no different than it was yesterday or the day before, and there's been no major incidents or things to talk about. So I think it'll just be a nice, gentle dog walk today, take in the sights, and then get myself all prepped up for tonight when I'm going down to the Wycombe Arts Centre for a bit of a party, because the friends of the Arts Centre and the group I'm part of, Wycombe Creatives, we're having a bit of a festive get together, but we're going to look back and celebrate the year that's gone by and what we've achieved. I think it's going to be fun. Why don't you join me? I'm back at the Arts Centre, looking deliciously spooky in cerise. Is that the right colour? Because tonight we're having a sort of get together of the local arts community. And how nice that we got this fabulous moon just up above us here. Look at that. And we're going to be partying the night away, celebrating all the arts events we've got involved in over the past year. Well, what a good night that was. And the full moon is just giving me enough light to be able to find my way home with my pointy hat. It's that time again. Another school, another Father Christmas, another gig, another bag of presents to give out to kids. Ho, ho, ho. Ever since the beard went white, this is my year, every year now. And every time I stand in and do one, they say, oh, can you come back and do it next year? So my list is building. Hey ho, the call is coming. Better go. I hope you've been good. Well, it was great fun playing Father Christmas again at that school. That was a new school for me. It seems to be burgeoning into another career. But yeah, it was lovely. It was all done by lunchtime. I had a lovely time. The kids, it's just lovely. They honestly believe I'm the real Father Christmas. And they come up and they give you a hug and they tell you what they want for Christmas. It's such a lovely thing to be able to do for the community. But now I'm out in the fields, taking the dog out. A bit chilly, but that's alright. Plus I'm doing a bit of an experiment. You may notice this small furry tribble-like thing clinging to my scarf. That's a Bluetooth microphone. And I'm trying it out with my phone, because I don't get any negative comments on this YouTube channel, which is really, really nice. I'm very thankful for that. But I do occasionally get criticised over the sound quality, because we have a lot of wind here on top of the Chiltern Hills. There's always seems to be a breeze, even in the height of summer. And of course it blows over the microphone, you get that awful noise. And I'm seeing if having this little microphone will make a difference. So today is a bit of a test. So it's quite a simple piece of kit. Can't remember the make now, and I've lost the instructions. But yeah, you've got the microphone itself, and you've got the bit that plugs into the bottom of the iPhone, and then the power lead, USB power lead for charging up the microphone, because of course the transmitter actually charges from the phone itself. So very simple piece of kit. There did seem to be a little bit of distortion on that first experiment. That may be because of the placement where the microphone is. I know certainly when I've worked in TV studios, they usually have the microphone on the shirt and pointed downwards. Well, it's a bit difficult with a scarf at the moment to figure out where the placement is. So I've tried adjusting it, and we'll see if this second experiment works any better. But either way, I think it's going to be an improvement, because if you look here, you'll see there's a bit of a breeze blowing here, and I'm not getting that noise registering on the microphone quite as much as it would do without the spoffle. I think that's what Stephen Fry once called it, a spoffle. A thing that covers up, you know, and stops the wind making a noise on your microphone. A wind protector, if you like. So yeah, I'm encouraged by this first experiment. Just by way of a comparison, this is the normal microphone on the phone, And it's not super breezy at the moment. It was a bit breezier 2 minutes ago, annoyingly. But you'll probably get some wind noise. And it'll be interesting to see how that compares to walking along the same little piece of grass here, the same piece of field, but with the remote mic that's got the wind protector on it. Let's see how different it sounds. This is exactly the same place. I've just switched it on now, the microphone, the remote mic, and I think you can hear a difference immediately. I think this may be the way forward. It'll also be interesting to see how far I can walk away from the camera and the Bluetooth still works. I mean, like, how far can I go up this garden before the microphone stops picking me up? Or you, Mr. Pug. Or you, Harrison Pug. Anyway, that's probably it for this week. So I will see you next week, and Toodle-pip. That's it, we're done. It's a wrap. And don't forget that our Wheel of the Year calendar is now available to buy. I'll give you some details at the end of how to get it, but it's got some stuff here about what the Wheel of the Year is all about, some of the symbolism related to it, and then there's a series of 8 photographs taken by Mark Page, which demonstrate the 8 major segments of the year. Here's Yule, here's Imbolc, next up is Ostara, there's Ostara. Then we've got Beltane. Then we've got, if my fingernails will work properly. Then we've got Litha, the Midsummer Bonfires. Then we've got the start of the harvest at Lunasa. Then we've got the end of the harvest and the apple harvest and wassailing the trees starting in Mabon. And then we have Samhain, also known as Halloween, which is when the worlds of the living and the dead combine. And we think it's a rather lovely thing. So if you'd like one, stay tuned and I'll show you how. If you've enjoyed this video, then please consider subscribing. Or click on some of these links to look at some of the other videos on the channel. Or press the like button. Or leave a comment. It would be lovely to hear from you. Any combination of those 4 things would be wonderful. Thank you very much.